You join me some 9 hours after starting this video. Confused, I'm sure you are, but you won't be soon enough, because I'm going to go back 9 hours in a second and then go forward again to where I'm currently stood. Morning guys, it's 4:45 in the morning, 15 minutes before sunrise, and I'm at this incredible place called Raatray Lighthouse, as you can see behind me. When I started this video 9 hours ago, things looked very different to how they do right now, and I got so caught up in the moment I didn't really create a video explainer, and that's what this introduction is right now. Please stick around for the next 10 seconds or so. So what on earth is this video all about? Well, this video is all about returning back to a place you've already photographed. I bet you have a favorite place you love to go and photograph, but you're afraid of going back to it because maybe you think you've exhausted all avenues and you don't want to seem as if you just keep going back to the same place and taking the same pictures over and over again. So I'm going to offer you guys roughly 10 tips, some of them common sense, some of them not so, on what you could do different each time you go back to the same location. And I'm an advocate of going back to the same place over and over again, because it teaches you so much about photography, and it makes you sometimes think and look outside the box. And I'm also going to add an extra tip in that I'm going to offer you at the end of this video. And no, it's not clickbait, it's a real poignant tip that will make an awful lot of sense at the end of the video. So please stick around for that. So all that's left for me to say is hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. She's not too shoddy, is she? Long exposure, tripod on wet sand. What could possibly go wrong? I am going to have to restart this video because I wanted to really structure this video well, to talk you guys through why, in my opinion, I believe you should go back to the same location time and time again, because it makes you think and it makes you work hard. And yeah, so I'll probably end up restarting this video, just bear with me. But at least I'm having some fun. It really is quite cool how I've ended up taking very different pictures this morning, because that's the gist of this video, which, well, I suppose I have now officially started, but I wanted to run through about 10 tips to offer you, one of which is to arrive at a different time. Hence the reason I'm here during sunrise, and of course at a different tide height. So all of these have been combined into one, and this is proving to be absolutely fantastic. I'm hoping the pictures look as good on a big screen, or when I show you guys, as they do on the back of this camera, because they look pretty sweet. And all I'm doing is picking up just different patterns in the sand and getting some nice reflections of the lighthouse that's currently backlit. And I'm going to go forward, and I can see a swirly whirly bit which might just line up really well with that lighthouse. So best laid plans and all that, and this is definitely not working. It looks, or it certainly looked better from back there than it does from here. I'm meticulously lining up the reflection of the lighthouse in the water, but it's not a good reflection. And not only that, but because the sun is constantly moving up and around to the right hand side, I've now lost that glow from around the back. Now I'm going to have to move slightly further to the left to line up that sun behind the lighthouse. In doing that, I can see there's a little bit of seaweed there that I could possibly use as foreground interest. Clearly it's not as good as a reflection, but it's foreground interest and it might work. If it doesn't, I'll just grab a couple of shots of that lighthouse without any foreground in. I'm not altogether sure that this fog, mist, sea fret is clearing up that much. I expected it to be nice and clear by now. Oh well. Do you know, it's ever so strange because for once I had a real structure to this video, and it's all about why I believe it's a great idea to return back to familiar places where you photographed maybe once or twice or even a few times previously. Should never be afraid of doing that. It'll make you think and make you think outside the box often, and that can only be a positive thing for your photography journey. And as part of my structure, I've got 10 tips to offer you guys. Some are obvious tips and some of them not so, i.e. return at a different time of day, return during different lighting conditions, different weather conditions, different tide heights. And I've pretty much done all of that this morning, and therefore I've ended up taking very different shots from the pictures that I've captured here in the past. Are they better? Who knows? But turning up on a day like today, it really does make you think outside the box. I mean, like 15 minutes ago, for instance, there was me trying to line the sun up with the lighthouse against reflections of water in the sand. You know, you can't envisage stuff like that. And yet that scene presented itself to me simply because I turned up at a different time of the day and during a different tide height. So all these things factor in to you coming away with better pictures. So this has thrown me ever so slightly, but in a positive way, because this really emphasizes why it is important to return back to the same place time and time again. Now, are the pictures I've taken today so far better than my previous attempts? Possibly not, but that doesn't mean to say I should write today off. It just means that I'm going to learn from everything I've done today. Yeah, cool. Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I am still loving it. This damn mist and fog or fret, whatever it is, still hasn't cleared and doesn't look like it's about to clear anytime soon. So what I'll probably do is call this video it for now, and I'll return just after lunchtime when everything is exactly as it was before. So I'm going to go against what I said, just so that I can then offer other advice about turning up to a location at the same time when you're faced with the same conditions, because I can almost guarantee it's going to be a blue sky and not a cloud in sight. I can almost guarantee that just after lunchtime today. And if I leave it till about 2 o'clock, it'll be high tide then as well. So going against what I'm trying to portray about turning up at a different time, different tide heights, different weather and lighting conditions, what happens if you then turn up and everything is pretty much as it was on your previous visit or your previous visits? And we'll cover that in what's going to be a blink of an eye to you guys, but about 6 or 7 hours for me. The day was about to get a whole lot better, and so were the pictures. But before I fast forward 9 hours, here's a look at the images I've captured so far. This from this angle looks superb. A good tip I can offer you guys is this. We as human beings can't see lighthouses or lone trees. What I mean by that is, I always tell people, never photograph a lighthouse, never photograph a lone tree, because that's what we don't see with our eyes. Here's the explainer. I very often see people showing me pictures of lone trees and lighthouses. Here's a picture of a lone tree. Here's a picture of a lighthouse. And yet, we as human beings, we can't just see that. Unless we walk up this close to it, we can't just see that. The reason why I'm here is because I want to photograph this lighthouse in all of its splendor. That's what I can see with my eyes. This lighthouse is in the middle of the sea, in the middle of nothing, with all these amazing crashing waves. So what I always say is, photograph a scene with a lighthouse in it. Photograph a scene with a lone tree in it. And this is brilliant. I've come back, and again, don't be afraid to make the subject small in the frame. From where I'm standing now, I can see all of this vastness here, and the lighthouse looks very small. Well, show that off in your pictures. Explain to people what you can actually see. The lighthouse doesn't have to be in your face. The lighthouse just wants to be where it is right now, from my perspective, looking out there, small in the frame with everything else in the grandeur. So all I'm doing now is I'm using 2/3 of this frame to photograph all this gorgeous white foamy water, which will, in essence, over a long exposure, of course you don't have to do long exposures, but over a long exposure will just create a lovely fine gradation, a lovely lead-in line taking us all the way to the lighthouse in the background. That's going to be quite small in the frame. Me personally, I absolutely love and adore that. If you don't love and adore that, then that's perfectly fine. Oh, this is just incredible, just incredible. What a day. Yeah, so there's a good tip for you. Think of unusual angles. Use the conditions to your advantage. If we've got splashy, crashy waves, use them to your advantage. Shoot them with a fast exposure, and let's capture those crashing waves, because there's nothing better. Put a 6-stop filter on there. Slow your shutter speed down to a second or two and show movement in the waves. If you like that sort of thing, bear in mind all this is subjective, then that is incredible as well. Or if you, like me, you like the really long shutter speeds, then show that off also. And while I'm talking to you now, that's a 2-minute exposure, and that looks crazy. Oh, look at that, just in time. That's my current setup. Now, don't be afraid to experiment. This is the good thing about coming back to a place time and time again, especially if you've already got pictures you're proud of, pictures that you've perhaps printed in the past. But don't be afraid to think outside the box. We've already talked about making the lighthouse or the subject small in the frame and utilizing all these crashing waves up here as foreground interest, or a lead-in line, like there's a lovely lead-in line taking us all the way out to the lighthouse. But go outside your comfort zone. If you've never tried this before, give it a whirl. Even though there's nothing in the sky, tilt your camera up to show 2/3 of nothing in the sky. Now ordinarily, on a day different to this, it might well be so conducive to do this. Again, I'm going to leave the subject where it is in the frame, but this time, tilt my camera right up. Let's go roughly on that 1/3, or even slightly below it. And you can also go the other way and do something like that. So if you thought the foreground deserved it more than the sky, then do it this way around. Give that a whirl. But me personally, when it comes to subjects like this, I tend to do it this way around. Let's focus on the lighthouse there, and I'm going to grab that shot and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, that's so good, so good. Something else I'm going to try as well. I'm going to see what happens if I go much further back. This where I am now is a really clean beach, apart from my footprints of course. But if I go further back, I can make more of a feature of the white crashing waves. Now, unless I zoom in, which will probably be a pointless exercise, I'm going to render the lighthouse even smaller in the frame, but I will be exaggerating the white line and the gorgeous vastness of this beach and this area in general. Now, will it work? Will I like it? No idea. But this is the advantage of coming back to a place time and time again. I won't know till I try it. The reason why I've decided to come all the way back here is because I noticed a lot of these waves seem to be breaking just here, and they seem to be fairly substantial. So I'm thinking, I might be able to utilize a half second or a second shot like this wave coming in now, just to grab that motion of the water, because that really adds interest, especially on the foreground. Now that is quite a way off, so I'm going to opt to tilt my camera down to use 2/3 of the floor and 1/3 of the sky, because obviously I've come back here to show more of this sea off. This at 28mm might well be outside of a lot of people's comfort zones, because quite literally the lighthouse is minuscule in the image. And of course, don't forget, when you've got waves crashing up onto a beach, then they're receding like they are now, then have a play around with different lengths of shutter speed as well. Either photograph the wave as it's coming in, just when it reaches the very top. If you do that, you'll end up with a perfect white line that's really nice. On the other hand, you could capture it as the wave starts to recede, and then you'll get some lovely, well, more often than not, white foamy lines and streaks that add interest in the foreground. That's, again, all subjective, and it's all down to, well, personal taste, I'm guessing. Just while I'm here, I'll share with you another good tip, and that is camera height. I have this thing, it's called "Don't do what lazy photographers do." So if you want to be different, just change the height of your camera. What I mean by that is, most people want to turn up to a location, take a picture, walk away, job done. I see it all the time. Obviously that's not everybody, but a good tip is, even if it goes against your very fabric and your grain of what you believe to be right, just change the height of your camera. Get it down nice and low. So what I'm doing now is, I'm ignoring the lighthouse. I'm liking these waves over here so much that I'm going to shoot, quite literally, lots of nothing. Again, what's the chances, eh? So I'm going to tilt my camera up the best I can and show 2/3 of that nothing sky and 1/3 of the water that's breaking. Now, if you want to have fun and experiment, try doing this when you've got better waves than what I've got now, because the waves, to be fair, aren't particularly huge. But lowering the camera right down, and I'm going to take the camera even closer to the waves in a second. Oh, hang on, that's a nice one. Yeah, really cool. Just lots of nothing. I'm going to take my camera as far out as I dare go to exaggerate these waves, because the waves aren't particularly high at the moment. But if you try experimenting, doing what I'm doing now, when you're at a beach where the waves are much more aggressive than they are here for me right now, then trust me, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So there's a good tip for you. Do what lazy photographers don't do. Don't do anything dangerous, of course, but just think about where people are likely to go and stand when they turn up at a new location. The chances are they're after the honeypot shot, so they'll turn up, they'll place their camera at the right height, so it's easy for them to take a picture, and then they'll take a picture and walk away. Is that the best way to take a picture? Of course not. So think outside the box. Lower your camera down. Do something a little bit daring. Not daring as in unsafe. Do something that you perhaps would not have ordinarily have done, like I'm doing now. I'm going as close as I dare go to these waves. I'll kneel down, get set up, and I'll start taking pictures from here. Cool, let's have a look. Well, look, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, but I did say there's going to be one tip that is very poignant to me and this location, and for you as well, I can guarantee it. And the best tip I can give you, or the best advice I could offer, is don't be so precious. If there is a particular place you like going to, then go there time and time again. Your pictures will never be the same, conditions will never be the same, but that's not why we love photography. I mean, if you're an alcoholic, the chances are you're going back for the same drink time and time again. If you're a cigarette smoker, you're going back for the same cigarette time and time again. And no, I'm not a cigarette smoker. Notice I didn't say anything about alcohol though. The point I'm making is, don't be so precious. We're in this world of photography more often than not because we love doing what we do. We hold cameras in our hands because that's what we love doing. It's our hobby, it's our sport, it's our livelihood, it's whatever. It's not about making money. It really isn't. So, I'm going to end this video on the most important thing, and that's stop being so damn precious. Right guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do me a favor, help support the channel, give that like button a bit of a nudge, and if you're new here and you want to find your way back, consider subscribing as well. Till the next time guys, cheers.